contain strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, late night, this that talk. Pressure on, diamond show. City quiet, ratings high. Welcome to the True and Mark. Hey. Late night with Mark. We go deep at the dark, put the spotlight on the heart. Everyone, every scar. Late night with Mark. Success, pressure, every part. If you said it on your part, welcome to the True and Mark. Yeah.
Sweet.
What up? What up? Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on all post notifications. Turn these lights off. All right, come on in. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Let's see who we got. Shout out to 608 in the building. Shout out to Asmarola. Where you been at? So you think I'm trying to say that they are trying to bully people into socialism? I used to think the globalist agenda would come true, but I see other countries not going for it, resisting and fighting back. All right, we're going to see what these people talking about tonight. Shout out to Roger Lacey. Shout out to Kobe. It's crazy. Where was you at earlier? Well, I guess this topic will be good for you too. But earlier we did the gigging thing. You was missing. I was expecting you was going to be the loudest one there earlier, and you was missing in action. That's all right. We're gonna talk about some other shit tonight that's befitting. That's befitting for you. Shout out to Chris in the building. What's going on? Shout out to Ty C. Ty back. Shout out to Pippi. Shout out to the moderators. Shout out to SD Walk. Shout out to all the MGM gang members. What do you call it when somebody is poor by choice? I call them your name. Crazy. Shout out to Slick Turbo. What's going on? Shout out to Junior. What's up? Shout I get paid to wait. Shout out to Jonathan in the building. Shout out to all the people that was in the Discord earlier when I sent out that kite. Man, my phone was just ringing off the hook. Sorry I couldn't get back to everybody. But maybe I'll spark one up tomorrow if I got some time. Shout out to We Carry Freight. Shout out to Moving Company Hustle. Shout out to Boss representing the DFW. Shout out to Kelvin. I don't know about the being bullied, but nobody is coming to save you, so you have to make it happen for yourself. I 100% agree. Moving Company Hustle, I said never catch a late night show. Now I have something to watch while I edit. Let's go. Yeah, I did it about 2 hours early. I normally come on sometime between midnight and 1 a.m., but I ain't gonna lie, bro. I wasn't gonna wait. I said, man, I can do this shit now, and hopefully I can be in the bed by midnight. When I do them 12 o'clocks, when I be coming on at midnight at 12:30, man, my sleep score go down tremendously, man. That shit throws my sleep off. So I said, let me get in there early tonight. Let me see. Shout out to Junior for that super chat.
Sweet.
Gratitude is a must. Big up the true real mentors, Big Mark. Appreciate that. All right, so boom, let's get into this reaction of this. Americans believe they are being bullied into poverty while the system profits. Now we're gonna react. If this is your first time coming to the late night, we do little things different outside of logistics. We try to cover real world topics. All right, so we're going to see what's going on tonight. All right, so let's get it up. See what these folks talking about. Let me share my screen. All right, let's get it started.
How is anyone affording anything?
The American dream is dead.
What the hell is everybody out there doing that they can afford all this stuff?
With the cost of living and the cost of rent and the cost of food and like the cost of childcare and everything else, like how are people my age, like how am I always seeing people my age who are first-time buyers? Like, is it that they've just been saving for like 20 years and have just been really, really savvy? Or is there something that I'm missing?
I think it's possible that large portions of the United States will turn into slums.
They're not here to help us. They're here to take all of your money.
They want us fight.
Who is they? Who is these people they talking about? Who is the they? I'm just asking. I ain't trying to be funny. Who is the they? Are they talking about the man? Is it the man, the system, the man? I found out that the man, this whole time I thought the man was the white man. Until somebody told me it was the man is considered the system. The whole time I thought it was like the white man, but they saying the man is the system. So is it they? Is they the system? Is that who they is? Shout out to Juan in the building. Yeah, hit the like button. I have 3 jobs. That's how we do it. That's how you got to do it. You got to do what
Fighting
you
against each other along all of those lines. Because if we're doing that, we're not fighting against the billionaires who are the ones who are hoarding the wealth that we all need to live a dignified life in the 21st century.
So most people cannot deny that the affordability crisis is here. It's hitting pockets every single day. And the people that it's hitting the hardest are the working middle class.
Am I the only one that's wondering how people are surviving now? I mean, let's just say you drive through a neighborhood, you see a house. You know, that house used to be half as much just a few years ago. Now it's twice as much. That's a big bill. That's a major part of your expenses. You'll see people, they got a house, they'll have 2 new cars or 2 cars that you could tell they're probably making payments on. Let's say you got a couple kids, even worse, you got a couple kids. Maybe they have to be in daycare because you're working. Daycare is insanely expensive now. There's the cost of everything. Cost of electricity is up. The cost of food's way up. The cost of insurance is double what it was just years ago. For everything, your house, your car, both cars. I mean, I'm just wondering, like, you know, paychecks haven't really gone up at all in the last 5 years since COVID started, but yet everything is just insanely more expensive. Are people really just, is it all a front? Are people actually broke and they have no actual money? Are they just leveraged with huge amounts of debt and that we just can't tell? It just appears like they're doing well? Or is everybody just rich? Like, what's going on out there? How are people affording a house and 2 new cars and taking care of a kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, and then just everything else? I mean, you know, you got...
And making that shit happen. They making that shit happen. They working. Listen. Hey, Crazy, you might get a little offended tonight, man. You might get a little offended. I'm going to keep it a buck with you, man. People is working. People working jobs. Like the people that's asking these questions, I'm noticing they in their car. Is it a trend? So is these people gig drivers? Or is it just cool to do these little TikToks in your car? I'm thinking like these guys is like gig workers. I think he's a gig worker. And I'm just assuming because he's doing this in his car. So a lot of the people that do this type of shit in their car, they do gig work because they spend most of their time in their car. So when these people are asking this, I'm assuming the reason why they're looking at other people trying to figure out how they're doing it, these other people are working. They're not doing gigging. The gigging is something that you should do on the side to supplement the work. People are working. There are people that are actually working. When he says there's 2 cars in the driveway in a house, that means there's 2 incomes more than likely coming into that household. When he's asking about the two cars in the house, there's probably more than likely 2 incomes that are coming to that household that are 6 figures apiece. People are working. People are doing what a lot of people that are questioning and wondering are not doing. They're practicing delayed gratification. Now, there are some people that are house poor. There's a lot of house poor people out here. There's a lot of house poor people. A lot of those people that you see that live in these big dumb houses that is too much house for what they really need, there's some people that are house poor. But there's a lot of people that are working as well. So
all the other things you got to buy. Doesn't matter if it's soap, it doesn't matter if it's clothes, shoes. I mean, there's just general life. Then there's just doing things. You go to the movies, you go out to eat sometimes. It's just everything. Everything's so expensive.
Well, you may have to cut back on discretionary spending. You may have to cut back on activities. You may not be able to go. Listen, the last time I went to the movies, me and my chick went to the movies, that shit was $120. And I hadn't been to the movies in, man, we just not movie people, man. I think the last time I went to the movies maybe was like, I'm going to keep it a buck with you, prior to the pandemic. I think the movie I went to see was, what was the movie with Kyrie Irving and Lil Rel? So that was maybe like 2018. So I remember a movie was like $5, $7 or some shit like that. From what I remember, maybe 10, 12 or some shit like that. Man, I spent $120 to go to the movies. Now, the way the movies is set up, because people don't really go to the movies after the pandemic, AMC has restructured the experience of a movie. They've made it more into an experience where, they've gotten rid of the stadium seats and they've put in love seats, couches, so you can have more of a romantic experience with your date, and the seats recline and you can order the food and they bring you the food, and they got a bigger menu, and they bring it to you while you're laid back with your feet propped up so that they can charge you more money. And I noticed the theaters are smaller now because less people are coming. I remember prior to the pandemic, I know the AMC right here in Illinois, it was like stadium seats, like, man, you probably could put 200-300 people, like stadium. Now it's like 35 people to a fucking room. You may not be able to kick it. I heard dudes don't even listen. I don't club it no more. I'm older, but I heard dudes don't even go to the clubs no more. I heard that the clubs just be full of big girls. Listen. I'm only gonna tell you the truth. That's what I heard. I just heard it be the big girls. Hey, big girl, won't you back that? How the song go? Hey, big girl, wobble with me, wobble. Get in there. What a goddamn song? Hold on. You know what song I'm talking about? That goddamn. Hold on. Hey, big girl, won't you back it up? Hold on. What my goddamn? Where is it at? What's the name of that goddamn song? What is that song? Hey, big girl, back it up. What's that song? What is that song? Wobble with me, wobble with me, wobble with me. Hey, big girl, back it up. That song. What is that song? No, that ain't it. What's the name of that song? What's the name of it? What's the name of that song? Is it Wobble With Me or some shit like that? Wobble. This only the big girls in the club now. The dudes ain't in there no more because they ain't trying to spend no money and buy chicks drinks, and the chicks don't even give them a conversation and give them the number no more. And plus, they might run into their ops. If you can't kick it, you can't kick it. It's just facts, man. You got to do what you got to do.
Now, and I'm just wondering, what the hell is everybody out there doing that they can afford all this stuff?
Ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. Not at that. You serious?
The American dream.
You said clubs are for poor people? Don't say that because you never got a chance to experience club life.
Is dead. People don't have a future to look forward to. And it comes back to the cost of living now and the utter uncertainty about whether we'll be able to afford to live at all in the future. We can't count on our health care because your health care depends on your employment, if you're so lucky, and the cost goes up every year. And if you lose your job, you also lose your health care.
I pay for health care out of my pocket. See, this all goes back to work, bro. It all goes back to work.
Can't count on good housing because the rent goes up every year, and getting a mortgage has become inaccessible for way too many. If you have kids, you don't know if you're going to be able to afford to put your kids in daycare or what the cost of.
All right, now let's have a conversation about kids. Should people plan kids? Be honest. Should people plan kids, or should you just be just raw dogging, and if it happened, it happened? We know kids is another bill, and kids are expensive. Shouldn't people plan kids or no? You say yes? No, I'm asking you because people always say it's expensive, and they complain about childcare and shit. But shouldn't you plan kids from a financial perspective? Or do you just fuck it? We just, fuck it. You say plan, right? That would be the financially responsible thing to do, right? Right? You got to plan for kids, right? You know that when you do have the kids, eventually you're going to have to go to work. So you have to plan and budget for child care. This is why it should be planned. It all goes back to choices and decisions and being financially responsible. So
Your education is going to be. And if you're aging, you don't know if you're going to be able to collect on Social Security, which was a promise that was made 90 years ago. And now Donald Trump and Tom Barrett are trying to break that promise. The fact of the matter is that there are billionaires in San Francisco and New York who are eating the whole pie and are leaving the rest of us to fight over the crumbs, while they divide us with social media algorithms. They want us fighting against each other. And Trump is a master at this. Every vector of division in society he exploits, whether it's race, religion, where you were born, gender, even partisanship, Democrats versus Republicans. They want us fighting against each other along all of those lines. Because if we're doing that, we're not fighting against the billionaires who are the ones who are hoarding the wealth that we all need to live a dignified life in the 21st century.
I don't think non-Americans understand just how much Americans are being sold to all of the time, like constantly, relentlessly. Because even just the last few days, I've been walking around going, what is going on here? I think we all know and understand that America is essentially the home of capitalism, fine, but I think I wildly underestimated it, like wildly, because when I come to the States, I'm always on holiday, New York, New Orleans, California, I've been all over, but I've always been here as a tourist, and so you expect a level of selling, right? You're a tourist, you're moving with a bit of purpose, you're doing the landmarks, you're kind of on the move. But this trip is very much kind of different. As a lot of you know, I'm here to see someone. I'm not going to get into the details. So I'm kind of living alongside of her life. There's time in the morning, like now when she's out at work, and I maybe move through the city. But even now, I'm doing my own work too. I've got stuff to do on here. And so we hang out a lot in the evenings, and we do the grocery stores. We do local walks. We watch movies at home. I'm moving like someone who lives here because I'm passing through it alongside her. And yeah, man, Americans are being sold to in a way that
So this nigga, he doing like a... I don't even know, this ain't a cross-country relationship. This like a international relationship. He doing a real long-distance relationship. Buddy ass tweaking. Ain't no way in the world I'm finna be dating a chick in London and shit, and then have to be flying across the water and all that shit, bro. There's plenty of chicks across the pond. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of women across the pond. That's why he tweaking. He's spending a lot of money to come over here to get some ass. But he tweaking.
I've never really experienced in my life. At one point, we're out and we're talking about streaming, and she's complaining about the ads that come with streaming. And I'm like, yeah, ads are annoying, but we all grew up with ads. Terrestrial TV had ads. Like we all just suffered with them. And she goes, no, Jamal, it's different, right? So then we sit down, we watch a movie on Amazon Prime, a service which she pays for, by the way. And within minutes, I'm like, oh, this is kind of dystopian. because they're not ads. They're micro shopping experiences. Like the movie just stops and a button pops up like, hey babe, while you're during this emotional climax of the movie, do you want to buy some fabric softener that will be delivered to you in the next couple hours? It's the low stakes version of, you know, in Ready Player One when they show you how many ads you can fit on the screen before the player will pass out. And then there's just like the roads, you know, just like you're driving along, the sheer size of corporate logos here. In the UK, a Domino sign is a sign. I've never just seen the logo off on the side, bright, like it's a bit of a
That's social media. That was the whole purpose of it. Bait you in and then sell to you. That's how Mark Zuckerberg is, what, the third richest person? He was very patient before he introduced ads to the platform. I remember companies were trying to buy him. I remember early on when it wasn't, you know, monetized, and he was just really putting that VC money to use to pay for, you know, talent to continue to code. I remember when Facebook was just for colleges, and then they introduced it to high schools before they opened it up, you know, just to the general public. And, you know, he was spending a lot of VC money to pay a lot of the top talent to just code. And eventually he finally introduced ads, and, you know, a lot of the target direct marketing that you see is based on, you know, your device listening to conversations and paying attention to, you know, what you're Google searching, and that's how they get you. It's like you can't escape it. And a lot of people we see just don't have control to say no. And now there's things like Afterpay. I think Cash App acquired Afterpay, and you got what's the other, Klarna, and you got Affirm, and, you know, there's probably some more that, you know, give you options to purchase things and pay for them over a period of time, and they're a little bit more lenient than your credit card companies as far as your credit score. I don't even think they report. I'm not sure, but I know they're more lenient, and this keeps you in debt because a lot of the times people that are using this new form of purchasing is, you know, they're doing it because they're spending money that they don't have with the promise to pay over a period of time. And it's just funny how that new form of payment came out, you know, not simultaneously, but, you know, a few years shortly after. When I say a few years, maybe like 5 or 6 years after, you know, direct targeted marketing started to hit social media. Brilliant idea. Brilliant. They're going to find a way to keep you in debt. You can't scroll social media without being sold. And you're being sold things that you are interested in and interested in buying. So, yeah.
Monument. We drove past this one, right, and I'm looking at it going, I don't think I've ever seen that logo before. I have. I've just never seen it that large and illuminated and standing all alone. UK logos exist, but they're not landmarks like this. Here, every chain looks like it's competing 5 meters after the next one. They're just competing with one another. It's not enough for you to know the brand. They want their light burned into your retinas. I swear if I lived here long enough, I could identify brands with my eyes closed just by the aggression of the glow. And then the grocery stores, like every time I go into one, someone's like, hey, we've got a deal on this. I'm already in the store. I'm already buying stuff. Why are you trying to sell me already? Let me breathe, love. Can I just pick up a basket? Can I just get a trolley? And then I saw one of my favorite content creators talking about the World Cup and how they're going to be doing 3-minute hydration breaks no matter what the temperature. In the World Cup, for people who don't know this, during the football, right, they do hydration breaks at the halfway point of a half, so like a quarter way through the game, because of the temperature of the stadium, of the country that they're in. Here in America, they're not worried about that at all. They're just like...
I've seen this dude before. Is he like a big content creator or something? I swear I've seen this guy before.
No, we're doing it regardless, because they want to sell you on ads. I've heard people say that America isn't a country, it's a company. And honestly, I see it.
America is a country, it's a business. Your city, the city that you live in is a business. The state that you live in is a business. That's why they charge you taxes, property taxes. That's why they charge you in big cities. We have We have city stickers we got to get for our car. Each car, we got plate stickers that we got to get every year. It's a business. You get parking tickets. They tow your car, pay the city of this, the city of that. The City of Chicago LLC. It's a business. Generates revenue. Country is a business. They do business deals with other countries. It's a business. He's absolutely right.
Because it's everywhere. It's in every interaction. It's in the gap between the thoughts. It's in every patch of sky that can physically hold a billboard. But again, as I say, I've only ever been here as a tourist, really, and as a tourist you expect to be sold to. But I didn't realize that that's what it was like for Americans here, living a fraction of that life for a few days, moving quietly through someone's like normal routines. It hits you differently. And I'm so intrigued to hear from Americans, like, what is that doing to you? Because I don't think I've ever experienced a culture that's so committed to turning every moment of stillness into a transaction. And it's funny because it's not the fault of Americans, it's the fault of corporations. Americans haven't asked for this. Like, what does that feel like? Every silence is an ad. Every breath is an opportunity to buy something. And like, I really hope this doesn't come across judgmentally. I'm just shocked. I've never experienced this before. I think ultimately I'm realizing that I don't think the rest of us are realizing just how much noise you're all living with.
All these big corporations and the government hate the people that they say that they serve. They're not here to help us. They are here to take all of your money and assist in helping you lose all of your limbs and your teeth. You know, in Latin, the word government, right? The word govern in Latin is to restrict or control. And the word ment, M-E-N-T, is the Latin root for the word mind. So the word government in Latin literally is like restrict your mind or control your mind. It's the government.
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Hashtag look it up.
Cost of living increases are not raises. Like we just did at our company that I'm the CEO of, we just did cost of living increases, and we did them for everybody in the company. Social Security Administration said 2.8% was the cost of living increase. Great, everybody gets that cost of living because that's the pace of inflation, just to keep up. If you are a company who's out there and you're saying, hey, here's your raise of 3%, when really it's just cost of living, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. You need to give raises separately from cost of living increases, and raises come from doing a great job. Cost of living increases are just to keep up with inflation. That's it. It is your basic duty as a leader to make sure that people are taken care of. And moving people up to keep up with inflation is just a good thing to do. I don't believe that the government should tell us to do this. I just believe that you need to do it as a leader. Do the right thing. Take care of your people.
Hey guys, I'm at Walmart. Check this out. Look at the price on these snow boots for kids. This is absolutely absurd. We're supposed to keep our kids' feet warm. $50 for a pair of snow boots? Insane.
This is one of those things I talk to my friends about, but I've never said publicly. Do you ever wonder how people are affording things? Like, my husband and I do pretty decently. We own a home. We each have a car with car payments. We have a moderate amount of student loan debt. We have one kiddo. We live in a rural town outside of Portland, Oregon. I feel like as far as millennials go, we're probably pretty middle of the road. And I think our spending is probably pretty middle of the road too. I budget, I try to watch our bills. We don't do a lot of shopping, but Amazon shows up more than I'd like. But then I see people who are like regular, and by the way, no judgment passing on these. This is just me wondering how this is possible. I see people who are regularly getting their nails done, regularly getting their hair done. They're constantly buying new home decor items. They're constantly buying new clothing that's on trend. Like, I just watched a video of a woman talking about how her costs for a pedicure are $200 for every pedicure. And like, while that's great, and I'm sure it's like a gorgeous pedicure, I don't doubt that the service is awesome. I'm just like, how is somebody affording to do that regularly? And moreover, like, how are there enough people who can afford to do that to like make that service worth it, I guess, is part of it too.
How come it's always we can't afford to pay?
I ain't gonna touch that one.
our workers more than $15 an hour, but never, we can't afford to pay our CEOs millions of dollars a year.
Guys, I think I'm crashing out. This is the indicator of the recession. You can't tell me toothpaste is all $7, $7, $7, $7, $10. Like, dude.
How is anyone affording anything? Because everything is expensive. It's like looking at Zillow and there's like a 2-bedroom townhouse that's a fixer-upper and it's like $875,000. Get bent. Or you're paying like $1,200 a month for some shitty Honda that like screams when you start the engine. Like, I don't understand.
Some people that live in these in places where just the cost of living is really expensive may have to look at moving to more affordable cities and towns. And that's just the honest to God truth. You know, if you live in LA or you live in Chicago or you live in New York and you just can't afford to live there anymore, you may have to move. That's just the reality of it. I was literally got a text from someone maybe about 20 minutes before I came live, and they're saying they're seriously considering moving down to Texas. Texas is the new Atlanta, I guess. But, you know, the South is always, well, I don't know how it is down there. Now it's probably still cheaper. But the South has always historically been cheaper than living in the North, especially in the big cities in the North, like Chicago and New York, and maybe Philadelphia. But like literally, I just was talking to somebody that texted me and say, seriously considering leaving Chicago and going to Texas. A lot of people have left Chicago that I know and either live in Texas or Georgia because they're just getting priced out, you know, so.
And like concert tickets.
But this person kind of going, not to knock them or shoot them down, but the conversation first led with, I'm trying to get my life together. This person is in their 40s. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier on the earlier show when I was having this debate with Pop Sosa and shit like that. I tell people, yo, stop waiting to do tomorrow what you can do today, because time is going to go by. You're going to be in your mid to late 30s or early 40s, and then you're going to wake up and you're going to look and realize, yo, I'm 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, and I ain't got shit. And you know what I told this person? No cap. Let me see if I can blow it up. So that way you don't think I'm bullshitting. No, Mark, it's just convenient that somebody texts you. Let me see if I can blow it up and cover their name and shit. Hold on. Let's see. Let me see. I don't want to put their name out there. Let's see. Let me see. How you? No, maybe I'll. Maybe I'll screenshot it that way. Let's do a screenshot. Let's do that. Close that. This is today. Let me show the screen. Yo, you good over there? This is today at 9:36. I said they at home, still trying to figure life out. Still trying to figure life out. I've been thinking about moving to Texas with my brother. He's down there, just tired of here. Big Mark, do what you feel is best. Figuring life out in 40s, question mark. Big Mark hold people he know accountable too. What you thought treat the people I know different. I said, figuring life out in your 40s, question mark. You know what you need to do. Don't matter if you here or in Texas. Nothing will be handed to you. True, I sometimes just want to see how it feels to live somewhere else. I've been making pretty good money lately since working 2 jobs. Did 4,500 in 2 weeks. It wasn't easy. Just time consuming, a lot of driving. Well, not gonna bother you with my problems. I'm pretty much single again. Trying to shoot a shot at Big Mark. Big Mark ain't going for that. You dig what I'm saying? Just trying to pick up the pieces and move on. It's been about 2 months, not much contact, no sex. He's still hurting from his dad passing and don't know how to communicate. And I'm just over it. But good night. Listen. These chicks is something else, big dog. They something else. She wanted a different type of response from Big Mark. She really wanted Big Mark to be like, "Oh, for real? What you on right now? Oh man, it's tough. I can, I got you. I'll throw you a few bucks if you need it." Nah, motherfucker, we ain't doing that. You seen Big Mark hit you with the, man, you know what you got to do. It's fucked up out here, boy. It's fucked up out here. Big Mark hold everybody accountable. Everybody. Nobody's safe.
I know I've mentioned this before, but they're like $600 just to like sit behind a pole. But if you want like a decent area where you can breathe the same air as the freaking stage, it's like $900. What the? Or like all these people are going on these lavish vacations to like Greece or like Ireland. What? Or like kids' sports fees. They're like $300 and you get like some shitty polyester jersey and you don't even get shorts. It's just the jersey. Is this real life? So I'm convinced either one of a few things is happening. People are selling their feet for money. They're freaking selling plasma. They're literally selling no.
You know what? I heard the line at the plasma spot. I heard that shit be off the chain. I heard them lines be down the street and around the corner every day. People be selling blood.
Those nachos, or they're married to someone super wealthy, because I have no idea how the hell anyone is affording to live right now.
The only fix to our current situation is complete, intentional, and deliberate economic withdrawal. Now, economic withdrawal, to my understanding, is a little different from boycotting. Boycotting is withholding temporarily, looking for a change, right? And that's not going to work anymore. These people have shown their true colors. We are living in the world in their true colors, okay? Don't forget that. Economic withdrawal is complete withdrawal. The only power we have is money, right? That's just the truth, right? Wealth has conflated with survival, power. It is status. Wealth has been overconflated with way too many things. We have to pull our money out of these systems entirely and build new systems with the money we pull in our image. We are seeing now the 1%, and they're not even elites. They're not elite, excuse me. They are more so insecure addicts who coincidentally who got lucky, people. I mean, let's just talk about it how it is. They got lucky, but they also so happen to be narcissistic psychopaths.
The 1% didn't get lucky. I mean, the 1% has been the 1%. When we're talking about the DuPonts, we're talking about the Rothschilds, we're talking about the Kennedys, we're talking about the Rockefellers, we're talking about those people. They've been the 1% for generations and generations and generations. And when you go back into history, I'm going to be honest with you, they were early adopters. And I mean, they pretty much earned their wealth. They're just being able to keep it. I don't agree with what a lot of the things they do to keep it, but they weren't lucky. I mean, we got to be honest here. we got to be honest here. I just think what he's saying is just, it's false. He's upset, he's angry, he's but the information he's saying false. The 1%, like some of the names that I name, and there's some others, that 1% has been the 1% for many, many generations. And they were just early on, they built businesses. I don't agree with how they've done a lot of things, right? And what they've done to stay in the 1%, but they did work for what they got. They didn't get lucky. So
only care about wealth, right? We are living in their world and their image built by people who only care about wealth. We have to pull our wealth out of their systems, out of their hands, and show them that we understand where the real power is at, and we have to rebuild systems that benefit the people, the 99%, the proletariat, the working class. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Economic withdrawal starts as boycotting, but eventually turns into we can do things better for ourselves better than anybody else can, right? We're always listening to somebody who isn't present, who isn't within 5 miles of telling us what to do. Yet we are all going to our work with each other, doing the jobs, having fun with each other, upholding our communities, making our communities run. These people are only facilitators, mediators, because they inherited a bunch of money, or they don't have a shred of empathy or humanity in their bones, and they just decided to step on the backs of others to get what they wanted. These are the people that we're effectively listening to. After hearing that, would you want to continue listening to these folks? Economic withdrawal is the future. It is beyond protesting. It is us investing in ourselves, and realizing that we don't have to work for somebody else. The only reason we think we have to work for somebody else because slave culture has been perpetuated worldwide. And until we can deconstruct that and realize we are the ones who do the work, and we are the ones who should be building heaven on earth for ourselves, while they sit in their jets, they sit in different countries, they sit in their big ass houses, while their checks literally.
So if everybody does what he says that everybody should do, which is just economic withdrawal and work for themselves, one, who's going to be the employees and who's going to be the consumer? If everybody does what he says and works for themselves, who's going to be the employee and then who's going to be the consumer? Because everybody's doing everything in all different industries. So all the merchants who got their own little store, who's going to work for them if everybody's their own boss? And then who's going to be the consumer? Because if I got my own and you got your own, I'm not going to shop it with you because I got my own. So why would I go shop with you? But nobody's coming to shop with me because they got their own. I don't understand. That's why it's an economy. That's the whole point of an economy. Just think about what he said and how foolish that shit sounded. I get where he's going with it, but that's the point of the economy. You're gonna have people of a certain economic status. You're gonna have other people of a certain economic status, and it's just like I always say: the people of this economic status are going to pay the people down here to do the things that they don't want to do because they can afford the people down here to do it for them. If everybody was up here, who's going to do the shit down here? Who's going to do the shit here? Who's going to do the shit here? Who's going to do the shit here? Everybody can't be here. It's unfortunate. It may sound crazy, but that's why it's an economy. I don't even say it's unfortunate because that's just the way the thing is. You need people of different levels to make the shit work. Now, you don't have to stay down here. That's up to you. And the likelihood of getting up here to the 1% is highly unlikely. And that's not being negative, but it's been generations, and the names that have been up here are still the same names, and I haven't really seen any new names get added to the list. Before you get up here, they'll probably fucking wipe you out or some shit like that, to be honest with you. But, you know, you might not get all the way up there, but if you can get here, you know what I'm saying? But it's going to require some work. But you need people of certain social economic status and financial economic statuses, because this is what makes the economy work. So I don't know what Buddy is talking about.
Hit their account day in and day out. God bless.
I just checked my mail for the first time probably since October. My mortgage is going up in February. It's going from $228. Well, right now I pay $2,282.91 every month. It's going up to $2,547. Are they out of their mind?
The taxes or the insurance went up.
Why? Why is this happening?
The insurance went up, or the taxes.
This looks like gibberish.
Guys, are we tripping right now? Or is mascara actually $25
for Lash Paradise?
Look, this is one of the mascaras I use, $21.99. Wait, what? $21.29.
Bro, even Great Lash. This is $17.
What?
$17, bro.
Are we tripping right now? Is this
$6?
I'm so confused.
What is actually happening?
I'm just going to lay myself bare here, because something that I really want and something which I really struggle with is that I really want to buy a house, and I'm 35 and I'm a first-time buyer. Like, how are first-time buyers in their 30s now affording to buy a house? Because I bought a house maybe 11 years ago when I was with my ex, and it was a 3-bedroom semi-detached house, and I bought it for 150 grand, and I literally only had to save 10 grand for deposit. Like, I lived at home and it took me like 8 months and I had 10 grand for deposit. Like, that now would be like fairly achievable. But if you want, like, I'm a mum, if you want a family home, and even a 3-bed semi would be great right now, but like, you need like at least 70, 80 grand for deposit. And with the cost of living and the cost of rent and the cost of food and like the cost of childcare and everything else, like, how are people my age? Like, how am I always seeing people my age who are first-time buyers? Like, is it that they've just been saving for like 20 years and have just been really, really savvy? Or is there something that I'm missing? Because it's something which like pretty much lives in my head rent-free. And I'm like, am I ever going to achieve this? Because how are people doing this? So if you know the secret, if you know the secret sauce, please tell me.
My fiance and I are trying to buy a house, and it is brutal out there. There are 3 options that we can pursue: renting, buying a condo or townhouse, or buying a house. I'm going to walk you through why each of the 3 options are currently extremely poor. Renting a house in New Jersey, especially one near the Princeton area, is going to cost over $30,000 a year, with the average rent cost being between $3,000 to $4,000. So you multiply that by 12 months, that's $36,000 to $48,000 a year. Insane, especially if you're trying to get a nice spot. That's stuff that you don't get back anyway, so you're pretty much paying to just live there, and you will never get a return on asset for that. Condos and townhouses are just as bad, if not worse, because if you buy a townhouse or condo, you have to pay the HOA fees, which they'll list on Realtor.com as, say, $200 to $500. And in doing so, you think, okay, that's a consistent fee. It's not.
It's not, because if anything, if special assessments are added at any point, then it'll go up. Currently, I have my normal, obviously, mortgage, my fees, right? The standard fees that you get at closing, whatever they are at the time. But I have 2 special assessments right now. So I got my normal assessments, and then I got 2 other additional assessments that I got hit with. It was a $4 million roof project that we had special assessments added. There was a masonry project that was a couple $1 million that they had to add a special assessment for. And if there's something that's the association needs to do and there's not enough money in reserve in the coffers, then they have to add a special assessment. So he's right, and you have to be prepared for that, because a lot of people, buy condos and they don't understand that they could get hit with special assessments. And if the special assessments just get to the balloon to the point where, you can't afford them because you still have to pay your mortgage, even if you're paying your mortgage and you don't pay your special assessments, they can put a lien on your property and you can lose it, because in the contract, if you don't pay your association fees, they'll put a lien on it and you'll go into foreclosure, even if you're still paying your mortgage.
New Jersey's the second state to pass a law that copycats Florida's, where if it's a 2-story townhouse or condo like area, the reserves need to cover the funding if something bad happens to them. In 2021, the collapse of the Champlain Towers in Surfside, Florida, caused other states to look into adding more funds to the reserves, so that they need to be able to pay down 85% of rebuilding all the structures if they end up collapsing. So there's going to be special assessments that are added that won't be put up front on Zillow or Realtor.com. And they probably won't even tell the homeowners anyway until it's about to happen. It's just like, by the way, you're going to have to pay this one-time special assessment.
But that's the thing with special assessments. You don't know, they don't know if they're going to have to add them. Like, I think I'm about to get hit with a third one because I think they're going to end up replacing an elevator, and that's $1 million. So, I a lot of these situations, you don't know if a tornado or something comes and it does some type of structural damage, let's say to the roof or to some of the masonry. I don't know, I'm just throwing something out, and the city comes out and, when they come out and do an inspection and they say, yo, this has to get, repaired, and there's not enough in the reserves, then the association has to implement a special assessment. Now, depending on what the project costs divided by how many owners, obviously special assessments, they vary depending on the square foot of each unit for each owner, so not everybody pays the same thing. And that's how they come up with the funds for whatever the special assessment. So at closing, they may not know right then and there if a special assessment will get added. Like, I didn't get my first special assessment until 6 years after living. And then 2 years after that, I got hit with a second one. So you never know. It all depends on the building and what's going on, and if something a special assessment needs to be added.
So if you want to get a condo or townhouse, you're going to need to search the reserve funding anyway, the reserve study anyway. And that's going to be brutal, because you're going to have to pay in so much more to get to that 85% by the year 2035. Finally, trying to buy a single family home is brutal, because the ones I'm looking on Zillow, either they're completely.
So by law, they have to, at the end of the year, they give you a report so you can see what's spent. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I found out that one of the property management that was hired a few years ago, they ended up stealing like $200,000 from our association. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, you get when you own, you get a report every year on, credits and debits and, what was spent. That's how I'm able to, like, with my association, know how much was spent on masonry, how much was spent on roof, how much was spent. They redid the gym like a year or two ago, how much was spent on equipment. So by law, they have to give you a report when you're an owner, because you're paying your association fees monthly. So they have to give you that report.
Unfinished basements, they've had mold, anything, of course, in realistic price range is tough. Some of them don't even have 4 sides to the building. Like, there's just no back. It's just brutal out there.
No one can buy a house anymore. So now we're forced to rent. but then the rent got expensive. So now we have to buy an RV. Now, it's illegal to live in the RV. So we try to live in our car. It's illegal to live in the car too! So we become homeless? We can still live on the street. But you know, that's legal.
I think it's possible that large portions of the United States will turn into slums before the end of the Trump administration. And if that sounds insane, know that India was once the pinnacle of intellectualism and exploration and trade, and now they have slums with more than 1 million people in them. So throughout the arc of history, we have seen that great cultures, places that thrived and had education and prosperity, very quickly can fall and have large portions of their population living in slums while palaces still exist. And most people in the
You're right. That was the actual property management company that stole the money. But you know, and that was the one time they switched to like a more privatized, but you know, the last two have been big, you know, national property management like First Service and I forget the other one they were using, but we had First Service for a while, and yeah.
United States have never seen a slum firsthand. I have, and it is terrifying to see the conditions that people live in. But what I'm seeing with the increases in the homeless population here in the United States, because people just can't afford housing or basic needs being met, is that that's where it starts. And this isn't to malign anyone. I don't think that there's anything inherently bad about the people who become homeless. I think it's just a symptom of the larger lack of support and culture, but that is exactly what the Trump administration is doing. They are stripping away protections that exist. So think about social safety net programs, things like Medicare and Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act subsidies. He doesn't want those to exist anymore. Now, if we scrape by the skin of our teeth and we somehow manage to pass an extension on those, we might delay some of the worst outcomes when it comes to healthcare. But look at housing. Look at living wages. Look at the affordability of groceries. All of that lack of affordability and just inability for us to make ends meet in spite of the fact that we're working full-time jobs, but also jobs are becoming less and less available. So things have changed faster than I think a lot of us thought was even possible. And I think that the direction that we're going as a country is really, really scary. And so we need to wake up to the realities that not only is this a possible thing, but I think it might be the goal. The Trump administration doesn't want a thriving middle class because that doesn't actually...
You know, it's funny. I mean, she's blaming it on Trump, but I'm going to be honest with you. As a soon-to-be 46-year-old man, I've always heard people say, you know, the middle class always gets hit the hardest. And the middle class has always complained ever since I could remember about, just being the ones that get hit the hardest. You know, the poorest people, they get to live and they get government assistance, whether it's Section 8, and, child care, Section 8 child care, and EBT, SNAP, Link, depending on where you're at in the country. Medicaid, so, and then obviously the rich is just rich, and the middle class, working class people, they get hit the hardest. That's not something that's new. That has always been a thing. So, I don't know why so many people like say that shit now, like that shit is new. That's always been the way it is.
Help them.
Because they're not rich and they don't get assistance. Like everything is off the muscle, everything is off the strength. So
achieve their goals. They want ultimate control, and they want a very select few individuals to control all of the wealth, while the rest of us are essentially just
a very select few of individuals have been controlling the wealth. The 1%. Like I haven't seen these last names change. I haven't seen an introduction into that 1%. I don't think ever. The names have always stayed the same. So I don't know, bro. Like what these people be like.
Slaves, and they really don't care if we die. Look at things like Project Esther. Look at things like Project 2025. The goal is not to develop and foster a thriving society, which is what our government should be doing and why we pay taxes, right? To support the infrastructure that allows us to live high quality lives. That is not what this government is doing. That is not what this administration is doing. They are taking every single tax dollar that we give them and they are funneling them into the pockets of the ultra wealthy, into their war machine, into more and more ways that they can build AI data centers that destroy the environment, but they don't care because they think that they're protected by their wealth. So I think it's time for us to all really like wake up to this reality and start thinking about how we can behave as individuals that will resist this slide. And the very first thing is like recognizing that yes, it can happen here. It is happening here. And by turning away from that reality, we're making a conscious choice to allow people who we think are more likely to have that eventuality live that reality. But the reality of it is that none of us are safe unless we have $1 billion in our bank accounts. And there's not very many of us who do.
That's not true. You don't need $1 billion to get by. I think a lot of people just don't want to live modestly. You don't need $1 billion to get by. There's a bunch of people that are not billionaires that get by, that live a good quality of life. There's people that are not millionaires that don't have $1 million in cash or $1 million in assets that live, very comfortable, a good, modest quality of life, a nice, modest home, a nice, modest car, and they can still take a family vacation once a year. They can keep their refrigerator stocked. So I disagree. You don't have to be a billionaire to live a good quality of life. You just don't. So I just really don't know. I think a lot of these people that be on TikTok, I think they just be following trends and just trying to put fear. Is it tough? Yes, but it's always been tough. Obviously the cost of living is higher, but it continues to rise. Ever since I can remember, it's always gone up. So you just have to work. I was having a conversation with my chick earlier and we were just talking about different ethnicities and, she was asking me, why is it difficult or what's the issue with us in comparison to like the Chinese and things of that nature. And I said, one thing with us is we don't practice group economics. A lot of these other cultures, they practice group economics, and being in the moving industry and just seeing how people live firsthand. The Chinese, which, when you look it up, they are the least likely to get a divorce. They stay together. I think when we were looking it up earlier, me and her, they are least likely to get a divorce. They stick together. It's 2 incomes coming in. When I, see the Indian, the Pakistani, and it's 2-3 generations living in a household, all pooling their resources together. I see some of the Hispanics that come over the right way, and they all practice group economics. They'll rent a house and they'll have 2-3 families living in the house. The men will go out and they'll work, and the women will stay home with the kids, and and they'll all pool their resources together. The Caucasian, and some other ethnicities, you got the husband and the wife that are working, and they're both working, and they're putting their income together. They're bringing 2 incomes into the household, and they're saving, and they're putting that money away for the future. And I was just explaining to her like systemic things, with us, but then now you got the women that just got this boss bitch shit, and they're the main provider because they've been put in positions that a lot of men, can't get, right? So they've become, in most cases, the head of the household, and it's a lot of just systemic things that have just ruined I guess our demographic and, we're not getting married, the divorce rate is up. And like I was telling her, I think in most cases, you need two incomes coming into a household. And, we just don't see it, so, I think that's a big issue with our culture. So we don't practice group economics. We don't work together. We're not getting married, so it's not two incomes, and it's not working together, whereas other cultures are.
My mortgage is going up by over $500 a month, so let's talk about it. I live in a starter house. If you saw my house, we would all agree that I live in a starter house, and my mortgage is already $4,300 a month. However, I got a letter in the mail saying that
Now you heard what she said. She got a starter house. Now to non-homeowners, you may not understand this. Her starter house mortgage is $4,300 a month. So her starter house isn't a typical starter house. She's probably saying it's a starter house because it's her first house. But if her mortgage is $4,300, she's got, depending on when she bought, she probably has a house that's close to $1 million or maybe right above a little over $1 million on a 30-year mortgage. Depending on when she bought and what her APR is. $4,300 as a starter home. That's at least close to $1 million, probably a little over $1 million home. So is it really a starter home? Not really. So I'm curious to hear what she has to say.
mortgage is actually increasing, and it's now going to be $4,800 a month. It's going from $4,300 a month to $4,800 a month, and I've owned this house for like 18 months. I bought it in the summer of 2024, so do the math. It's not even been 2 years at this point, and
So she bought it in the summer of 2024, so her interest rate is probably somewhere between 6 and 7%. So she has a high interest. Which, is accounting for what she's paying. But I think that house is still in the upwards of $1 million. I wonder if she says how much she bought it for.
doesn't factor in any of the improvements that I've made on this house. I've already poured over like $75,000 into this house. I'm constantly putting money into like updates because it's outdated. It needs updates. It needs repairs. Just like all of the things that come with.
So if her mortgage is $300 prior to them going up on the mortgage, I'm assuming 6 to 7%, because she said she bought it in, I think, summer of 2024. That house is about $1 million, and she's telling me she's putting updates into it. So she bought a fixer-upper for $1 million. It's probably not even a fixer-upper. She's just not satisfied with it. She's just not satisfied, which is, to me, $1 million home is your first home. That's
being a homeowner. And a couple years ago, I made a video talking about why I never wanted to own a house, and I talked about things like this. And my feelings are the same. I am very grateful and very fortunate that I was able to buy a house in the area that I did buy a house in. Like, it is a great area. It's a great school district. But like, genuinely, the fact that I'm 28 years old and have a mortgage that is essentially $5,000 a month for a starter house that I still have to like update and take care of and repair just feels absolutely criminal.
But that goes back to it's not criminal. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. It's not criminal. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier, house poor. Like, I don't like a $5,000 mortgage on, she's saying a starter home, but a starter home, which a starter home. And I know it's 2026 and the houses are high, but you start a home person's looking in today's time, maybe two, and that's probably not even, that's 300,000. Maybe about 10 years ago, starter home, 125, 150,000, 175 maybe. She's paying $5,000 with the interest rate. Her house is close to $1 million, not $1 million. So she bought $1 million home as her first home, and she's saying it's criminal. She didn't have to buy $1 million home. She's 28 years old. So that goes back to house poor. It goes back to when I say choices and decisions. It goes back to when I always say people buy too much house. You know, a lot of people want to be house poor because they, like a lot of people, like the bougie type people and shit like that, their house is like a flex. It's like and you see this a lot with like Arabs and like Caucasian people. They get like their house becomes like a social what do you call it? Like what do you it's like a social statement or whatever. But the thing is, they buy too much house than what they need. And then they don't account for increase in property taxes. And also what they don't account for is maintenance. A house is just like I tell people as far as the trucking, when you get a truck, like you're going to have to maintain it. Something's going to happen. A house is like a business. Something's going to happen. And you have to make sure that you have money for maintenance. You never know what's going to happen. I've shared my experiences last year. I had to redo the place. And State Farm said, fuck you. We're not giving you shit. And what if I didn't have the money? So you have to have, you have to maintain it. That lady, I don't know her. I don't know what her, finances are, but 28 and a house that's probably in upwards of $1 million. I'm assuming she doesn't have 5 or 6 kids at 28. I think she bit off more than she could chew. And now she's saying it's criminal. She could have easily bought a $300,000 home. But people want to live in these affluent areas. They want to get these big houses so they can say, oh, we're having a housewarming. Oh, you got a beautiful home. And people are going to talk about, oh, she has a beautiful home. Yes, little Susie, she has such a beautiful home. But now you're saying it's criminal. Goes back to what I said earlier. People bite off more than they can chew.
This is not my regular content, but I just got our HOA dues for 2026 in the mail. And my husband and I just went over it, and oh my gosh, we probably spent like 20 minutes just like talking mad poop because we're just so angry. If you are thinking about moving or buying a house, please think twice before purchasing a home that has an HOA because they will do nothing but take you. So let's go over our dues, shall we? So let's just mind you, when we moved into this house a little bit under 3 years ago, our HOA dues were at $300 a year. It is now at $425 a year.
That's it? That's what the fuck she complaining about? I pay $800 a month in fucking dues. That's it? Maybe she meant the year, bro. I know she ain't tripping over those $400 fucking dollars a year. Nigga, I pay $800 a month in HOA condo association fees.
House a little bit under 3 years ago, our HOA dues were at $300 a year. It is now at $425 a year. Okay?
Hey man, these people tweaking, bro. That ain't shit. Nigga, I wish my fucking dues was $425 a year. What is she talking about? The fuck? That's it? You gotta be kidding me. I know she ain't on TikTok complaining about no $400 now. I know she ain't on no TikTok on some $400.
And there's also like 100 houses in this neighborhood, so think about all the money that they're making, right? So when we first moved in, apparently there was this huge lawsuit happening where one of the neighbors had built a shed along the pond, and well, that's a big no-no. Well, they had put in a request. So to move a freaking bush, you have to write a request to HOA to move a bush, and then they have 30 days to respond to you. Well, unfortunately, the person that was supposed to respond had passed away, but we didn't. The person that put in the request didn't know that they died. And they went ahead and just did anyways, because the rule is if they don't respond, you can go ahead and do it. Well, they did it, and HOA came back and sued their butts. Sued them for what? For what? It's their property. I just don't understand it. So they got sued, and it cost a grand spanking total of $23,271. And guess who paid for it? The sweet neighbors, all of us. And we just moved in. We had no idea what was going on. This lawsuit has happened before we moved in. And HOA lost. Duh, they lost. The person still has her shut up. And I guess that person that they actually sued moved away. So they paid nothing. So they got sued, they won, and then they moved. So here we are paying all the legal fees, right? So we are paying $3,000 for insurance. Whose insurance are we paying for? Legal fees now in 2026 are going to be $2,000. So they went from $23,000 to 2025 $6,000, and now they're going to be $2,000. Okay, and then our website that no one ever freaking uses is $1,530 for a website. Mowing is 40 grand. It was 35,000 last year, but now it's 40 grand. Wow. For the irrigation and pond, 9,000. For what? What are we feeding the fish? Tree removal, which I've never seen these freaking people remove.
Irrigation, that's sewage, I believe. So they got a septic.
A tree ever, 10 grand. Utilities, 4,800. What commons area, 500. We have a gazebo in a pond.
The commons area is like the common areas of the HOA. So if there's like maybe if their HOA has like like she said, they got a gazebo, a pond, right? So the lighting for it, whatever the maintenance for the pond, the maintenance for the gazebo, the common areas for the HOA. So like a condo association, the common areas would be the lights in the hallways, the janitorial for the hallways, the gas to heat the hallways, shit like that.
Then for some reason it has rent, $100. Who are we renting? And then for the meetings that we have once a month, apparently, that we've only been to one time, we pay a grand spanking of $200. When we went, they didn't even serve cookies. Gosh, on the bottom it says, we have tabled discussion of fees and fines for a few months. Well, then you better give me my $200 back if we're not having the meetings. And if we do have a meeting, there better be a dang feast. Anyways, let me add, when we first moved in, we refused to pay the legal fees because they were charging us $300 plus like an additional $95 emergency fund because they were out of money in the budget to pay the legal fees. Like, that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. Anyways, we fought it. We didn't pay it for like a year. And then we ended up having to pay like $1,200 to the HOA.
Yeah, if you fight it, part of the contract is you pay the fees. Everybody collectively pays the fees. And if you fight it, then it's just adding late fees on and you're going to end up paying it anyway. Like, there's no way getting around that shit. That's what you sign up for when you dealing with an association.
Because they put a lien on our house. So
Told you. Didn't I tell you that earlier? If you don't pay those fees, they'll put a lien. You could pay your mortgage to the bank, but a part of the contract is that you also have to pay your fees. And if you don't pay them over a period of time, they'll put a lien.
if you don't pay your HOA dues, they will put a lien on your house. But we paid it. We're good. But I still want to move every single day because I hate them.
So I have a decent job. I make $28 an hour. I work almost full time. sometimes the doctor I work for is out, so I don't get scheduled, or the day is not as full as it should be for the amount of assistance, so I miss some hours, but not very often. Most often I work a full work week. Why is it that I'm working a full work week, making a decent amount an hour, and I'm still not able to like pay my bills? Like, I have a daughter and it's just me and her, and like, I don't extravagantly spend my money. I'm driving a 2015. I'm wearing scrubs that are 4 sizes too big for me because I'm not replacing them. Like, I don't buy makeup. I don't buy hair products. I don't buy new clothes. Like, I don't really do any activities because I don't have the money to do it. How are people affording life? Like, I just feel stressed all the time. I'm stressed all the time about money. And I know they say that like money doesn't buy happiness. And I'm not saying that I'm not happy, because I feel fulfilled in my life with my child and with my friends. But like, if I wasn't stressed about buying groceries or getting gas so that I can make it to work, I would be a lot happier.
So a new survey reveals that rising prices are forcing working class families to skip meals, delay care, and rely on high-cost debt to survive. This article goes on to say that while President Trump dismisses the financial squeeze millions of Americans are facing as a hoax, families are being forced to make impossible trade-offs every day to put food on the table.
Now, Trump is lying about the groceries. When Trump say groceries is down, he lying. He be lying about some shit. He be lying about the groceries. Gas is down. Groceries is still up. Groceries is sky high. He lying about that. I go to the grocery store pretty much every day, if not every other day. And I was at Walmart Sunday, and I had 2 bags, and it was like $115, 2 bags. I think I paid $29 for paper towels, $15 for laundry detergent. That's $45 right there for two items. $20 for some salmon that used to be like $10. What else? Those little toilet things that you put in the toilet, the Clorox one where it's blue on one side and white on the other side to turn the water blue. Those shits used to be like $4. That shit is $8 now. What else did I buy? Some goddamn dishwasher pods. That shit like $13 for like 40. What else did I buy? I bought some the dial, the fucking the gel to clean yourself. Shit's $15 for the Dove. Soap is $15 for like some bar soap, So yeah, shit is expensive. I was at the grocery store today. I bought some damn. What did I buy today? I bought some chili, some popsicles. I think I bought some pizzas. And that's it. I spent $40. I spend probably about $250, maybe $250, $300 a week on food, just on groceries, not eating out. So yeah, groceries are still high, man. Like even like the little generic popsicles that used to be like $2, $3 is like $7 now. Like the Outshine popsicles that used to be like $4 is like $7, $8. a pizza, like a home running pizza, it used to be $5. It was like $10. So paying like $7 for like a pound of ground turkey. That shit used to be like, some Jenny-O ground turkey, like a little package of ground turkey, Jenny-O or whatever. That shit used to be like $4. That shit's like $6.99, $7 now. So yeah, groceries definitely up. Creamer, $8. She used to be like $4.99. So yeah, groceries is definitely high. So Trump is he tweaking on that. He lying about that.
Do you think that the president is dismissing this situation that is taking place for most families? Comment down below what your thoughts are on that. I know there are a lot of people on both sides of the table when it comes to that particular opinion. And the article goes on to say the facts are clear. The affordability crisis is here and it's hitting working class families the hardest. 1 in 3 Americans skipped a meal to save money, according to this survey. Nearly 3 in 10 delayed or went without medical care due to cost. Roughly half tapped into their savings to meet daily expenses. I can definitely see that, and I know of people doing that. And more than 8 in 10 think prices will continue to climb under Trump. I personally think that prices would be climbing under any administration right now because we are in deep issues here in this country.
I agree with her.
And it didn't happen with just one.
It was already going up with. Here's the thing. With the amount of money that was infused into the economy during the pandemic, what do you expect? What do you expect? So I don't care if Mickey Mouse was the president. We were going to have inflation at the rate we were having after all that money was pumped into the economy. It's just what it is. So it doesn't matter. Fucking Donald Duck could have been the president.
Administration with just a couple of decisions. This is something that's been taking place for a very long time. And right now we're having to deal with the consequences. And CBS News is asking, what will the U.S. economy look like in 2026? The questions that are being discussed in this article are, will the job market pick up steam? Will housing become more affordable in 2026? In terms of the job market, I don't know if it's going to pick up steam. I think it's actually going to continue to go down the trajectory that it is right now. And with the housing,
I agree with her. With automation, with AI, with robotics steady coming into play, I think this is going to replace and displace more jobs. I mean, where are we making jobs at? We're replacing jobs right now. We're in the age of replacing people with technology. So what jobs are being created? There's no jobs. I don't see any jobs being created. Created doing what? We're in the era of displacing humans with technology. I agree with her on that as well.
I don't think it's going to become more affordable in 2026. I think people are going to be putting more houses up for sale because they're going to be losing their jobs and they're going to be reconsidering their financial situation. But a widespread crash, I personally don't think it's going to happen. I think there's going to be certain markets that do have these corrections, especially the highly inflated markets, but just a big crash all across the board, I'm just not seeing it. At the end of the day, you got to remember that the goal is to not have people own much, right? So that they're happy like that. And if there's a big crash and everybody can all of a sudden afford homes and interest rates lower and everything is just hunky-dory, that doesn't really line up with the plan. They're also asking, will the Federal Reserve...
Well, what's the plan? Now the housing thing, I agree, especially with BlackRock and other big investment firms that are just buying property as it goes on the market. They don't really care what they're buying it for because they don't plan on selling, and they're raising the rent. They're making their money back, and they're buying cash, so there's no interest. So if the market is inflated, they don't really care, and they're driving up the rent. So I don't see the housing market crashing. But what's this plan that she's talking about? What is the plan? That's what I want to know.
Continue to cut interest rates. We shall see about that. They're looking at the average utility bills nationwide. The article says Americans are now paying an average of $265 a month on utilities, up 12% from last year.
Somebody's got to pay for these data centers. Somebody's got to pay for them. We're paying for them. They're just not telling us. The amount of electricity, everybody's electricity bill is just going up for some strange reason. Somebody's paying for all these data centers. We're paying for them. All this AI that people are using, it's costing. It's costing. So
utility bills are up a ton, and I just can't stand it, really. I mean, when you see that you're not using any more water, when you see that you're not even using any more electricity, but you're having to pay for the data centers and all this other stuff, I mean, it's so concerning and it's horrible. So will affordability improve in 2026? What are your thoughts? Do you see the affordability crisis ending in 2026? Do you see that it's going to get better? Do you think it's going to continue the way it is? Or do you think that the economy is going to get even worse? Share down below. Share why you feel that way down below. And I hope you're doing well. Thank you for watching this video. Take care. Also, if you haven't checked out the podcast that my husband and I have just started, the New Exodus podcast, I'll put the link down below. Check that out. We talk about some real important topics every single week on that. And I do look forward to seeing y'all there. Until the next video.
Well, let me read some of these comments. We may take a look at one more video before I get out of here. But I think the thing is going towards merging human and machine together like Neuralink. That's ignorant. Fuck, you think this is RoboCop or some shit like that? She just said people not owning anything. Yeah, I mean, especially like homes and shit, that's just, getting further out of reach for a lot of people. So, it will only be temporary like this. You want to bet? Bro, I'm not finna bet you. You don't have $100 to bet, bro. Bro, you don't have $100 to bet. So why you want to bet me $100 that AI will not replace humans? AI is currently replacing humans now. So let's make the bet. I bet you. I can prove to you that AI is replacing humans already. You want to make a $100 bet? Let's make it. And I can prove to you right now where AI is replacing humans right now. You want to make the bet? Now you shot it out there. You want to make the bet? I want my money too. I don't care the fact that you live in a hotel and that you got 3 kids. You shouldn't be out here betting. You want to make the bet or no? All right, so what I'm gonna do is I was gonna do this other video, but what I'm gonna do is, since you saying that, I want call the number and tell me how we can make the bet, and then I can prove to you that AI is already doing it right now. Bet. I fired a person already and replaced them with AI. Call the number and I can prove it. What are you talking about? Listen, your little gigging thing that you do, you about to get displaced too. You about to get displaced. You about to get displaced too. Bro, AI, listen, bro, call the number, bro. I don't even want to, just call the number so you can run me my bread, bro. I hate to take food out your kid's mouth, bro, but you want to challenge me and proposition bets. I need mine. Big dog. Because as soon as you send it to me, I'm gonna forward it right to my chick. I'm gonna tell her to go get her toes done with. I'm gonna take your money and send it to my chick. Tell her go get her toes done. You dig what I'm saying? You could take that money and put it in your kid's belly. You want to sit up here and bet me $100? Bet. Call the number so I can get your money real quick. Oh, while we waiting for them, we're gonna take a look at one more. Let's see. The hell? You ain't gonna call that number and run that chop while you sitting up there talking. Let's see. Let's watch a short one. That was what, 30 minutes? Let's find a short one to watch and react to. All right, let's watch this one.
So apparently me taking a video of the sky in my backyard is misinformation. So we're going to post it like this.
Mandatory for the right to work. People are reporting that their phones are seeing and predicting what they are thinking.
You may never go outside again.
Travel restrictions, essential employees. I'm not.
Do I want to react to this one? Hold on, let's see something. Damn, this one an hour. All right, we'll react to this one the next time. Then let's find a shorter one. Let's see what
Things are about to get considerably worse in America.
This is it, guys. This is the tipping point.
We are walking our way right into a state versus federal conflict.
We are at the start of the American Civil War.
This is what it's going to take. It's literally going to be a group of people using their First Amendment right.
With all of the political divide in this country, things are so polarized in terms of opinions, and with the intense situations that continue to happen practically on a daily basis, more and more people are really talking about the potential of civil war in this country. They're going online, they're voicing their opinions and their thoughts, and I find it really interesting that this is kind of trending right now, and I haven't seen this in a while.
Bro, I'm just done. I just want to know when we light the torches and get the pitchforks, because we just need to burn this down and start the over. So, you with me?
It's time to leave the country. 100%. It's time to leave. That rhetoric on Greenland and everything else and Gestapo in the streets, it's time to leave. Because it's either going to be fighting in the streets, a world war, or just straight up authoritarian regime and everybody just doesn't care, or they're too apathetic to care. And I'm not like that. I'm getting my kids the out of here, and I suggest you all do the same. Give your kids a better life. Get them out of this country.
I'm going to tell you guys what's coming, okay? Because I think we need to be very clear-eyed about what's coming, and it's very obvious. On the second day of this year, I posted a video, and I said that I very strongly feel like 2026 is giving resolution, but through a lot of struggle and strife and very negative stuff. But that it's necessary to get to where we need to be. Well, we're not even that many days into this year, and I am already being proven right. Here's what's coming, folks, okay? Be prepared. We are walking our way right into a state versus federal conflict with us citizens in the middle. And I guess divided on those lines. That's what we're headed towards. And there will be clashes, we'll call them, okay? And there are going to be American citizens who are not going to comply. You weirdos that always said you wouldn't let the government tread on you are very happy, apparently, to let the government tread on you. So you're going to, I guess. But there are going to be people who will not allow that to happen to themselves or to their neighbors, and they will fight back. And apparently, the state's National Guard of blue states are going to be there to protect their citizens. So this is what's coming. I just need you to prepare yourself for headlines and for video of this kind of thing, because it is going to be terrifying. I think we don't have any other choice at this point, though. I don't know what other way there is. So wrap your head around it now, make your peace with it now, make your plans, Talk things out with your family that you live with. What do you do if they come to your door? What's the plan? You know, figure shit out, because I'm telling you, that's what's coming.
This is it, guys. This is the tipping point. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I'm going to tell you how to prepare for the impending civil and world war. And I know that that sounds scary, and I'm not trying to fearmonger here, but please stay with me. Today, JD Vance went on...
See, TikTok don't let you talk like this and all this fear-mongering and all this shit that they do on TikTok with these trends, and they don't allow this shit over in China. But they allow it over here. I don't know. These people are crazy, bro.
...and publicly declare that that ICE officer...
Like, social media has fucked a lot of people up, bro. It's done fucked a lot of people up, bro.
...officer who shot Renee Good has absolute immunity before an investigation is even complete, and they have all of the facts. So you know what else that means? That means he thinks he has immunity and Trump has immunity. He just gave every member of ICE permission to unalive Americans. Let me repeat that. Our vice president of the United States gave total immunity to ICE to off Americans. Don't get it twisted. This is state-sanctioned harm. The same shit that happened in 1930s and 1940s Germany. They are telling us that our lives come second to their authority. And here's the part that people might want to hear. If you are actually paying your taxes still, well, you can stop now. Because for the last year, they have taken away our rights, our benefits, our opportunity in the United States, and now they've actually taken away our protection. And our government is co-signing government agencies hunting us down and saying that it is okay. Meanwhile...
No, I don't use DoorDash. I'm sorry. I use Uber Eats. I invest in DoorDash, but I don't have DoorDash. I pay Uber. I pay the what's it called? Uber One, the $9.99 a month. I have that subscription. I don't have the DoorDash subscription. I was paying for both at one point, Mr. Crazy, but it didn't make sense to pay for DoorDash subscription once I became an investor into DoorDash, and a lot of the restaurants that are on Uber Eats is on DoorDash. So I canceled the DoorDash subscription. And I just pay Uber Eats, the restaurants that I want on Uber Eats. So I'm sorry, Mr. Crazy, you're wrong. I don't use DoorDash. I use Uber Eats. I invest into DoorDash.
They want to send $100,000 to each citizen in Greenland, while most of us can't even frickin' buy food. We are being destabilized internally while things are escalating with Russia, with China, with Venezuela, with Europe, and more. We have a target on our backs right now, and we're supposed to pretend like this is all normal? Hell no. This is how societies slide into civil conflict, with erosion, with fear, and with unchecked power. And so this is what I'm going to leave you with. We didn't call World War I and World War II those names when they were happening, okay? Let that sink in. 2, you need to stop paying your taxes, and you need to keep cash on hand, and you need to have things that you can barter. 3,
have cash, 3 to 6 months of dry 3 to 6 months of dry and canned food, and 6 months of drinking water. Have a generator with solar chargers. Learn how to protect.
to say it, but you need to be prepared in your homes, and you need to know how to protect yourself. So take that for what it's worth. I know that this feels heavy. It is. But if we have learned anything from history, it is that power without accountability.
We already do that. We already got big dumbass shit. We got dumbass, like, we got some shit some of this shit is just stupid. It's ridiculous. I got some shit that's just, it don't even make no sense. Like, what is this lady? She gotta be a middle American. I live in Chicago. I got some shit that's just, I don't even know why I got it. It's just so stupid. Like, I got some shit, that shit just don't even make no sense to have it. Like, we already got that just off just normal living. What is this lady talking about?
Always turns on the people, and it is time that we stand up.
What I'm about to say is probably going to sound crazy. It is going to make me a radical, and that's fine with me. I don't give a shit anymore. We are at the start of the American Civil War. I said it yesterday. I'm going to say it again. We're not voting our way out of this. If we make it to the midterm elections, that shit is not going to count. Your vote is not going to matter because they've already told us the 2024 election was manipulated. That vote was rigged. Okay? Elon Musk said it. Donald Trump said it. Voting is not going to matter anymore. Okay? These content creators that are lying to you and telling you just to vote in the midterms, stop listening to them. All they're doing is giving you anxiety and stressing you the out and leading you down the naive path. All right? What you're going to do instead, right now, is go buy 4, go buy 10. I don't give a learn how to some shit in your backyard.
Why is white people talking about buying guns? Like, we've been having this shit. Like, now the middle American white people who like used to like sleeping with their doors unlocked and shit like that, and they the ones that scared. We ain't scared because we got that shit just for everyday living. So you talking about go buy firearms and learn how to shoot and all this shit. Now they getting scared. Yeah, they getting scared now. Because the tougher it get, they gonna be the first people that motherfucker come get. They gonna be the first motherfuckers that people come get. They gonna prey on the weak people first.
If it is safe to do so, go to the gun range, go get training. I'm sure there are liberal and democratic, whatever, influencers or people around you that will train you on how to use a firearm, okay?
This is what it's going to take. It's literally going to be a group of people using their First Amendment right, pushing back at an army, a firecracker, a rogue person, a trigger-happy agent's ultimately going to set off the storm, and you need to be prepared. Again, food, water, ways to cook things, non-perishable items, ways to defend yourself. If you're not into pew-pews, maybe get some of that sweet spray that they like to blast at everybody. It's available online. It's just, I do want to point out that this is a situation that could stop everything. Gas station, grocery stores, everything you need to get through daily life. You might have a bunch of people that are unwilling to go to work or afraid to go to work. And you're going to have a lot of people that are not going to go to work because they're not going to take this shit anymore. The upside to that is that same infrastructure that we rely on, this little army also relies on. Air traffic controllers, rental car companies, all of these things that they need to exist, they also use. They're not just crippling us, we're crippling them. Just be prepared. I'm telling you, this is a Boston MAS situation where it's going to take one event, and that we've already been pushed to the brink, but this is going to end up as a mass pew-pewing that takes out a lot of innocent people's lives because these people won't stand down and they think they can control everything, and that's fine. That's apparent that that's where this administration is at, and people need to prepare accordingly. I'm just going to keep repeating this every few days until people realize how dire this situation could be. I mean, this could be a point where cell phone towers are shut down, electrical grids are shut down to try to stop any continued dissidence from people, like people just pushing back. It's you just have to understand where we are. We've seen this play out in other countries. We're watching it play out in a different one right now. That somehow now we support the people that you guys were talking shit about, how they couldn't get into our society and learn our ways. The it's the irony's not lost on me, but people need to be prepared.
Things are about to get considerably worse in America. And if you are an American, I would highly recommend you watch this, and if not, good luck. We are on the brink of civil war. And I believe personally that we have been in civil war for the last 10 years, and it's a slow process. When you look at history, they like to teach you that things are linear, right? Oh, we have a civil rights movement. we struggle a bit and then everything comes out fine. And that's the furthest thing from the truth, because if you're a real one, you know, it takes years. It takes years. It's grueling. Peaceful protest is very seldom effective. And there are still like states within the country that uphold Jim Crow laws, right? And we might not hear about it, but these things still happen. So I want you to consider this. You are not taught history in the way that it actually occurs. And that is purposeful, because you need to see that our peaceful protest is not working. We have been divided for the last 10 years as a nation. And think of it like this. You have things.
Bots not replacing nothing. Only those people who really don't do nothing, like the people in cubicles. Bots is replacing your job. You do DoorDash. I hate to like rain on your parade and shit, but hold on. I got you, big dog. Don't worry about it. I got you, big dog. Let's see. Second, big dog. Let's show you something. Let me show you something, big dog. I hate to rain on your parade. This is here in Chicago. Even in the snow. They crazy. So if it's here in Chicago in the snow and you in Florida, what we need you for, big dog? What we need you for? We don't need you no more. Look at this lot. This is here in Chicago in the snow, bro. In the snow. Okay? So I'm trying to understand, and you in Florida where there's no snow, the roads are better, the people are nicer. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be less people fucking with these things, kicking them over and shit, robbing them and shit like that. So if they're here in the January, negative 21 degrees with snow outside, why do you not think that they're going to, if they're not already in Florida, they're not coming to Florida? Like I'm gonna be honest with you, crazy. No, I ain't trying to be funny or nothing. You dig what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be funny. I don't want to hear that shit. Like, what skill set do you have to ensure like there's no special skill set to deliver food, bro? I'm just keeping it a buck with you, big dog. Like, they could just keep sending these things out, and then it'll just become the norm. Like, there's no special skill set. It's like not like you a plumber or something, bro, or like an electrician, or like HVAC, like a vocation. Like there's no special skills required to deliver food, bro. I'm just keeping it 1,000 with you, big dog. I ain't trying to hurt your feelings. I know you really love gigging. I know somewhere in your little mind, you think that, you can deliver food for the rest of your life and it's not going nowhere. But I'm keeping it 1,000 with you. Listen, don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm telling you, bro. That shit can be replaced. It's currently being replaced. And there's no special skill set. There's like to deliver food, bro. Now, if you was a plumber or something, then all this back and forth that you doing in the chat, you would have a valid argument. But you're not a plumber. If you was an electrician, you would have a valid argument. Man, ain't no bots. Automation ain't gonna replace what I'm doing. You would have a valid argument. If you was an HVAC guy or a mechanic, you wouldn't have I wouldn't disagree with you. I would 100% agree with you. But for what it is that you do as a DoorDasher, your shit will, and is currently being replaced. You're being displaced with robots or whatever these little fucking things is called. Like, I don't care when I go to Uber Eats if you bring me my food or if one of these things bring me my food. As long as that shit is not tampered with and it's still hot and it's in a timely fashion, I don't give a fuck. Somebody said those things are going to be tagged up and damaged within weeks. Yeah, they're already doing them now. They're just going to replace them. And the only reason I'm saying it's not going to matter is because we thought the same thing a few years ago when they introduced the e-bikes and the scooters and the divvy bikes and all that shit. The bikes have been around for about 13, 14 years now, but the scooters and shit like that, we thought the same thing. And guess what? Yeah, it was people stealing them at first and doing kind of other shit with them, and then eventually it just became the norm. And people use them to get around. After people get accustomed to seeing them and the virality goes away of people taking out their phone and kicking them over and uploading, once that shit, people get that shit out their system, they're going to see those things driving on the sidewalk, and it's just going to be like a normal day, just normal. They're not going to pay those things no mind. And you know what? The companies that put those things out and invest into them, they're accounting for the loss with these launches. They know people are going to tag them. They know people are going to destroy them. I'm pretty sure they're accounting for loss as people get accustomed to seeing them on the street. Eventually, it'll just be normal. So, I don't know, Crazy. I think you're tweaking.
Things that are swept under the rug so much, and we're standing on this pile of atrocities that has happened within our history. And I believe that there will be a catalyst that will pop everything off because people are going to be so annoyed and rightfully fed up with the injustices, and they will not take any more. And I truly believe that the execution of Keith Porter and Renee Nicole Good are going to be up at the top of that catalyst. Because what's alarming to me is that people are too slowly realizing what's happening. I have been very alarmed ever since people were expressing anger when people are peacefully protesting, because that is a constitutional right. It has always been alarming to me that people are angry about protecting the Constitution, because now what we're seeing with the death of Renee Nicole Good is that people are defending ICE, and ICE has gotten, the man who carried out that execution, has gotten a presidential pardon and immunity.
Check. Oh man. Let's see. Check. Is it people still here? Oh, people came back. Let me know if anybody's still here. Put a 1 in the chat. Let me see if it came back up. Nah, YouTube ain't bugging. The power went out. The power went out in the whole area. So I went to the power was out. So I don't know. Everything was out. So the whole area was out. Every building I looked out was black. So I did get a little scared for a second because we was talking about this shit that these people was talking about, and then all I heard was poof, and everything went black. So the first thing I did was go in the hallway and saw that all the lights were on because the generator kicked in, but like all the doorbells weren't lit up, so I knew it was a power outage. So then I went to the window to look. Obviously, all the lights were out in all the other buildings, so it was a power outage. So, and right when I decided, well, fuck it, shit I can do, I'm just gonna go to bed. Poof, they shit came back on. So I'm like, shit, let me go. I went on my phone and saw that the live was still just like kind of looping. So I'm like, well, fuck it, let me go turn it off now. But then when I turned the computer on and it was like click to resume, and I saw was people still in here, I said, oh shit. No. Yep. So yeah, just kept buffering. Yeah, the power went off. Yeah. So let me resume. Let's see. Okay, that's still up. That's still up. Let's see. Let me see something. Let's turn this second shit back together again. Turn this back on. See some. Let's turn this off. Go here. Let's go there. Let's finish looking at this video.
They can get away with it, you best believe that they are going to keep pushing the limits. We're in no man's land. We're in the wild, wild west right now because we have a farce right now, that we are law-abiding citizens and that we uphold the Constitution and that we can uphold the president to constitutional law, but that is a very thin veil that is being pulled back right now. Because what they're doing is they're gauging your reaction and your ability to put your foot down. Right, so here's where civil war comes in. I believe in the next 4 to maybe 20 years, the federal government is going to declare that there is a civil war. Because I believe that there has been one going on through culture, through beliefs, through ideologies. They're already been divvying up sides, right? Because look at the party system. They want you to be a part of the party system. I am very much against the party system because this is how it works. It's like you ever go to a farm and you see how they sort out the animals, they sort out the pigs and just send them each way. That's what they're doing to you guys. And the thing is that the powers that be can play the long game. They have the memory and the people don't because they're so overworked and overwhelmed and thrown into this meat grinder that they don't have the time to look at the fine details. So what I think is going to happen, they'll declare civil war, and then the US is also going to be going to war with Venezuela, other countries within South and Central America, and global tensions are going to continue to rise. So what can you do about it? Because we're already in a recession, and people want to tell you otherwise because they're like, oh, it's going to get worse. We're looking at numbers and we're looking at things that are worse than when the Great Depression was happening. And it's set to get even worse. This is like, there are financial things, journals and economic forums that are showing that it's getting worse than 08. And I know that's really poor language, but what can we do about this?
It's not worse than 08. People was jumping out of buildings in 08. Ain't nobody jumping out no buildings.
The most important thing you can do right now, prepare. And I always get stricken off the For You page. My videos never even get posted when I talk about this, but the natural state of the world is to be prepared. Before we were so lulled into comfort, and before we had things like the grocery store, and before we had these systems that make us like reliable to the system, we would prepare. And what we would do is like, okay, if winter is coming, you stock up on things for winter. We would prepare for natural disasters, and many states still do that. But I think that a lot of people have gotten too comfortable. What you can do is, even if you don't have a lot of space, even if you don't have any space, having a couple candles or a couple extra canned goods or one of those hand crank radios or, you know, a single bug out bag can save your life. And I have multiple times used these things that I have in my home for simple things that have happened. I remember I needed to go hiking one time and we were like going on a camping trip. I had a bug out bag. I had all my medical supplies and I had the things that I would need if I was going hiking. Grabbed it, came back, restocked it, we were fine. More serious, we had 4 power outages this past summer, and I was the only person in my whole complex that had candles. I had one of those top stoves. We got
You know, dude, I ain't got a, like, I used a flashlight on my phone. I'm like, damn, what happened if my phone? Man, I gotta buy some candles.
From like a swap meet for like $35 like 10 years ago, and this shit still worked. We were fine. We were cooking dinner. We had candlelight. We were like, oh, we're like medieval peasants. Like, it was funny. Like, I don't know. We were fine because we were prepared. So if I were you, I would just strongly suggest looking into grabbing a couple extra provisions. The most important thing you can do not panic. Keep a level head, because this is the strategy that I'm going to uncode for you. The political strategy for everything. The only reason why it works is because you have a mass that is so panicked, they're going to be running around panicked and they want someone to swoop in and save them. Or what they do is the people with power create the problem, come in with the solution, and there it is. That's why you see like, oh, we don't want you to prepare. Then when a natural disaster or emergency happens, you have things like price gouging, where like when COVID happened, you had like gas that was like an insane price, or you had toilet paper is the best example. People were charging double for toilet paper. These things happen, and it happens with purpose. They want you to be freaked out.
Mark, are you saying they are their own bully? What the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? Is who their own bully? What are you saying, bro? Is who their own bully? What are you talking about? You talking about the title? Why is this shit not coming up? All right, there we go. What are you talking about, bro? Explain.
They want you to be scared. They want you to be terrified. They want you to be upset and grieving. And it's okay to feel all those things, but keep a hold on the emotion. You can't control the winds that come your way, but you can control your sails, right? Make sure that you have community. Make sure you have people who know where you are. Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure that you have a plan, even if it's a small one. But that is my advice, and that is where I see things heading. And this is very important, and I don't think it's going to make it anywhere it needs to go. I don't think the people who need to see this are going to see it. And I really hope that I'm wrong.
You talking about the title, Are Americans Being Bullied into Poverty? The economy, inflation, all those components that are forcing people into being poor.
Because I've been trying to talk about this for years. I've made multiple videos on this and they have always been taken down. So this is going to be proof. if this doesn't make it to the TikTok For You page, I already know that TikTok is done. It's being compromised. And I know that it already is, but this is my litmus test. This is my marker of how bad it's getting. Take everything that I say with a grain of salt. Maybe everything will be great and we'll turn it around. Maybe people will check the government. Maybe people will do what they're supposed to do and use their rights how they're supposed to use them. But if things don't change, this is where I see things being projected. And I've watched a lot of analysts, I've watched a lot of people, and I've actually agreed with a couple people. I don't know if you've heard about it, but I would definitely recommend Professor Zhang. He teaches out of China. I watched some of his stuff. He's very interesting. I watched a lot of other people's stuff. I came to these conclusions 10 years ago, where some of these analysts are still trying to get there. So it's really about pattern recognition. I might not be right. I'm hoping that I'm not right, honestly, because that would suck dick. But I would just say, keep your loved ones close and just keep it safe. And there's no, like, it's scary, but like, they want you to be scared. I'm not fucking like, yeah, it's scary, but if you're prepared, you should be all right. Take everything what I say with a grain of salt. And this is all hypothetical for TikTok. This is all hypothetical. This is a hypothetical situation. It's just pretend. So yeah, do with this as you will. I also forgot to mention, but another alarming thing is that they're freezing the passports and they're reporting them as stolen. And this has been happening more than just recently. I've noticed this as well. I remember months ago, I was watching people getting detained at the airport and not being able to fly for certain things they had on their phones. I've watched people get detained and say that they don't have a valid passport, and this was months ago. But I just want to remind you guys that it is also alarming that now people are traveling to whole other countries and they are being told that they have to turn back on their own dime because allegedly someone is reporting the passports as stolen, and you can only do that with a social security card. So yeah, keep these things in mind. There are many factors, and it's important to keep your eyes open. Please be careful. Again, this is all hypothetical.
So in today's day and age, social media can really amplify these type of conversations. Obviously, we all know that. Whether or not this is going to become a reality seems to be just really on the table here, because there are a lot of things going on, and this country is headed into a very new type of situation than the past generations have been seeing for a little while now. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2026 and going forward, especially, I mean, you know how it is. You turn on the news and lo and behold, today's new catastrophe is being shared. It's one thing after another, and you have to wonder what the tolerance is for a lot of people. Not saying, you know, this is going to happen or not, but I do think it's really interesting to see more people talking about it. And I'm just putting out that, you know, the information out there. What do you think? Share your thoughts down below. This is a very interesting topic, and we are at the beginning of 2026. So we'll see what happens. Stay safe out there. Go ahead and check out the New Exodus podcast my husband and I have started. If you haven't already, I'll put the link down in the description box below. We talk about these types of issues, and
there's something definitely happening right now in the markets. We all know how China is trying to dominate the world as far as superpower.
They basically are telling you that they don't trust the same system that they're telling everybody else to trust.
And these are the people that control the world. Some could argue it's in a bubble, it's overvalued, but it's not stopping the central banks.
We think it's imperative for everybody.
Don't follow what they say, follow what they do. For me, I wouldn't feel so comfortable with that decision. It wouldn't even surprise me that it would 10x that.
And it's to be expected that it will continue now in 2026.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey guys.
Today we are going to be talking about the crazy surge in gold and silver in 2025, and it's to be expected that it will continue.
All right. Okie dokie. Let's see what we got in the chat. Okie dokie. See, not everybody came back, but it's okay. Is they the economy? What are you saying? Who's bullying who? The economy, what does that mean? People bullying themselves, bro. People bullying themselves, bro. Just like the lady, man, earlier who said her mortgage is $5,000. She's 28 and she's complaining about a $5,000 mortgage. Her mortgage went up to $5,000, probably a combination of the insurance going up and the taxes because it's rolled into the mortgage. She was paying $4,300. She's 28, and she said that's her starter home. $4,300 mortgage is a whole lot of money for a person's first home. So she bought too much home. She didn't factor in insurance going up. She didn't factor in property taxes going up, and she didn't factor in maintenance. So a lot of people are putting themselves into these situations. They buy too much home. They buy cars that they no longer can afford, or they can't afford the maintenance on them. Once the warranty runs out, especially like a lot of foreign cars, German cars, things of that nature, a lot of frivolous, discretionary spending money that they don't have, credit, a lot of credit card debt, a lot of pay by this, pay by that, a lot of trips so that they can post on the gram, a lot of fancy dinners so they can post on the gram, so on and so forth, bro. A lot of people are putting themselves into that and putting themselves in these situations, and they're complaining. Listen, as time goes on, the cost of living is going to go up, and you got to make the adjustment. You may not be able to have this. You may not be able to, to have an allowance, a discretionary spending allowance to do things that maybe you once could do. You know what I'm saying? You may have, it's you got to make sacrifices, bro. So a lot of people are putting themselves into these situations, bro. So it is what it is. Life is about choices and decisions, and that's it. So you said, I agree, we are our own bully. Yeah, so it's crazy that the people talking look a lot like they know how to make a profit. I think a lot of the people talking, well, some of them, I think the one lady in the Rivian, the lady who got the $5,000 mortgage, clearly she's making some type of money to get approved, right, for a starter home at 28 where her mortgage is $5,000, right? So, so clearly some of these people are, doing well for themselves. But, what we do know with a lot of people who are making money, the more money they make, clearly the more money they spend, and they don't realize that because they're able to get approved for something now, you go on a 30-year mortgage, it doesn't mean your mortgage, this is going to stay the same on what it was when you closed, right? And then you have to account for maintenance, and then you have to account for the cost of living and everything else going up. And a lot of people, they don't think about that. I thought about that, right? So, and I'm glad I made the decision that I made, when I made it. I always think and prepare for the future, and I always plan for the unexpected, So a lot of people don't. A lot of people YOLO. So, you got to give yourself a buffer just in case something happens. If you get approved for $1 million home, doesn't mean you have to get $1 million home. So, you said you have a gig and you're not complaining, but Mark, they got jobs and aren't complaining. Well, some people just aren't happy because they want to keep up with the Joneses. Like I said earlier, you can live a very, moderate life and be comfortable. It's just people have this desire for more, and what really is fueling it is social media. When people scroll on social media, they see shit and they want it. They see other people living, perpetuating certain lifestyles, whether it's fabricated or not. They want it. So they're not happy with what they have. They can't find peace and solitude with what they have because they're too busy trying to keep up with everybody else. So then they come back to the same place and complain about it. This lady is complaining and her mortgage is $5,000. So I'm looking at it, okay, your mortgage is $5,000. There's money being made. You got $1 million home. You got approved for a home that was appraised at or around $1 million. You're still not happy. Some people they just can't be happy. And, you know, like I said, I hate to keep going back, but social media is the reason why. Because, you know, she's got a $5,000 mortgage, but, you know, she might be scrolling on social media and then there comes up somebody who's walking through a 10-bedroom, 15-bathroom place and it's beautiful and it's got marble slab floors and, you know, cherry oak wood and, you know, 6-car, you know, attached garage with epoxy floor. And now that person feels like, wow, this home is 10 times better than mine, right? And now they desire that. People just ain't happy, bro. And they'll put themselves into debt to keep up with the Joneses. I don't know, bro. You said your problem is your credit score. Well, you know what you need to do to fix your credit, but you also know what you need to do to get out of your situation. You need to go to work. But you just don't want to work. So your situation, when you ask me that question, and I'm telling you, people, you're not exempt from that. You're not exempt from that, bro. You know, so you're bullying yourself into your situation. You need to get out of. So it is what it is, big dog. So you said Mark the king of freight? Nah, I wouldn't classify myself as that. So, you know, it is what it is. I think he's saying that they create the problem so they can be the solution. Working fine for me now. All right. Well, I don't know, man. Those videos, watching these people complain, it's kind of depressing a little bit. But, you know, it's good shit to react to just to see how other people are, I guess, coping. A lot of people are just coping, bro. You know, I'm blessed that, you know, when I do scroll through social media, you know, I can see things and not, you know, I'm happy. I'm happy with what I have, and, you know, whatever I want, I can go get it. But as I get older, I have less desire for things. I don't kick it, club it no more. So I don't spend the type of money that I used to spend on, you know, clothes for nightlife. I don't have any bad habits. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I haven't had a drink I had a shot for Christmas Eve. And prior to that, I didn't have a drink. Shot for Christmas Eve. And then the last time I had a drink was the day before Memorial Day. So I don't really, you know, have any habits. Most of my excess money goes into the market. It's working for me. I'm just not a person that sees sees other people doing things, and I get influenced, and I want to do those things. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. So it's just unfortunate that a lot of people put themselves in the debt trying to keep up with the Joneses. So, it is what it is. Yeah, so it's all rolled in. Insurance and taxes is all rolled in. SSMM. All right, no problem. We carry freight. I think I'm going to retire for the evening as well. Take my ass to sleep. 1:30. I actually came on at 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, so 3 hours, which is an hour more than what I expected to do. I expected to be out of here by 12:30, but today is Friday. We got to do a show at 12, so I'm going to get my ass in the bed. That video with the guy claiming he makes $1,000 by himself multi-apping was cap. You ain't got to tell me, bro. The, what's his name? Pop Sosa, he always wants to dispute things, bro. Ain't nobody making no $1,000 a day, bro. You ain't got to tell me, because if it was that easy, everybody'd be doing it. The system ain't even designed to let you even make that type of money, bro. That shit ain't, nah, bro. I wish you was here earlier. That way you could have disputed that, because we know if anybody would have known, it would have been you. I see you went back and you watched the replay, so yeah, I already knew it was cap. I'd need 2 wives to make $1,000 in one day. So what you saying? You'd need 2 wives to give you the motivation and the ambition to go out and make that type of money? You should want to make that type of money because you got 3 kids, big dog. Why I gotta be the wife? Why I can't be the kids? You got 3 kids. Remember we had that conversation last year about putting the kids through college? And you said, nah, man, they gonna have to figure that shit out on their own. I need you to change your mindset, big dog. Stop thinking about the woman and start thinking about the kids. Stop thinking about the woman and start thinking about the kids. Stop putting 2 more accounts in Instacart. I don't know, bro. I don't do gig work, so I don't know what the terminology that you're using. 2 wives would shop more orders, I mean. Oh, so you be having your wife shop for this shit? So you and your wife do gigging together? Y'all like but y'all like tag team at the grocery store and shit? Y'all like what? She pushed the cart, you grabbed the food or some shit like that? Wait, do she pull do you push the cart or do she push the cart? How y'all do it? Tell me how you do it before I get out of here. Who pushes the cart? Who pushes the cart? Do you push the cart? You know what's funny? Every time I'm in the grocery store, well, most times, not every time, I always see these couples in there. I be already knowing they be doing Instacart because they be looking at their phone and they be you could just tell they doing Instacart, bro. So who pushed the cart? She shops, I deliver. Oh, okay. All right, well. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Why don't you get a job and then her get a job and then y'all bring 2 incomes in and you add that shit together so that y'all can get up out that situation y'all in. Because her shopping and you delivering, that still is 1 income, bro. It's taking 2 people to generate 1 income on a gig. So if you doing a gig order like the buddy earlier for like say $35 order that's gonna take you an hour to do as far as going to the store, shopping the shit, putting it in the car, taking it to the person. It's taking two of y'all to make that $35. So once you calculate the cost as far as the fuel, wear and tear, maintenance, insurance, shit like that, and then the labor costs, like, bro, what are you really making, bro? Let's be honest. Let's say if she did the gigging and simultaneously you went and got a job, don't you think that would be better? Wear and tear is low, but you missing the point. Two of you guys are doing one thing. It's two of you guys are doing one thing for one income. If you're averaging $25 an hour gigging, but she's shopping and you're taking actually delivering the food, it's required. It's taking two of you guys to make that $25, bro. That shit is like, that shit don't make no sense, bro. I don't care how cheap your car is, bro. I don't care. You missing the point. Y'all working as a team to gig, bro. That shit don't make no sense. While she shops, I'm looking for another order. Still the fucking same thing, bro. Two of you people are working collectively to make orders, bro. If she was a full-time gigger and you went and got a full-time job at a warehouse or a factory or something, you'd be better off. If she's shopping and you're in the car scrolling, picking more orders, and you're generating $25 an hour, it's taking two people to generate and make $25 an hour. So with the cost of it, plus the labor that it's taking two human adults to do for $25 an hour, it's like, come on, bro, what are we talking about? That's not smart. It's not smart, big dog. So you could try to like justify it all you want, but come on, big dog, that ain't what it is. That ain't what it is. Bro, here we go with this. We made 2K last week. That's it? That it? That's all? Like, come on, big dog. It's two of y'all. It's two grown-ass people, and that's it? You saying that shit like that shit is like you did something like really, really astronomical or some shit like that, bro. Whoop-de-doo. Turn that 2 into 4. It's two of y'all. Turn that 2 into 4 a week. Why don't you go do something and she do something and bring in 2 incomes? Listen, $2,000 and it's 5 of y'all. Come on, big dog. Come on, big dog. You got 3 kids. And you paying the hotel weekly. You got to feed 3 kids. Like, bro, I'm not finna have this conversation with you at 1:30 in the morning, big dog. I ain't finna have it, bro. You gross 2,000. You didn't make 2,000. Compare 2,300. Compare 2,300. 2,300 a month, 2 of you, and 2K a week. You ain't gonna get it. Because you can add her to your policy, make cost more. And she worked in a warehouse most we made. All right, big dog. I'm gonna let you have that. Whatever, bro. You ain't got no benefits, bro. You ain't got no health insurance. You ain't got nothing for the kids. You ain't got nothing for retirement. How much you got in retirement? How much you got in retirement? You made $1,350 with expenses. All right, how much you got in retirement? How much you got for them kids' college? How much life insurance you got on them kids? What about health insurance on the kids? $500 for what? What does that $500 represent? Come on, man. Quick. 500 for now what? I got to get out of here. I'm tired. All right, bro. I'm out of here, man. I'm tired. I'm out. Peace.